Hello to you all. My name is Adam, and today we're going to be doing a Euro 2021 or, actually, Euro 2020 prediction today. UEFA's finally released this tournament predictor, which they did way back in Euro 2016, and I loved it. You can, I mean, it's easy to, I guess, make software to do this, depending on who you talk to. But I was kind of concerned they weren't going to do this year because we're getting real close to kickoff, and the team uh, there's a new format this year. Is what I'm trying to say. I believe the website The Guardian released one, kind of like a make. It looked pretty cheap and ugly, but you have to subscribe to them in order to do it. And you know, I don't want to do that. But thankfully, UEFA has blessed us with this. So I will be going through um, the seeding of each team in the group stages, as well as the third place playoffs, and I'll explain the format in just a second. Through the round of 16, quarterfinals, semifinals, and so forth. Uh, so, biggest change for me this year is the actual format of the tournament in terms of groups. So, Euro 2016 had 8 groups, and similar to like how the World Cup operates, um, or well, the same as how the World Cup operates, but all European teams. Um, but this year, UEFA are doing something different, and they're actually going to let four of the best finishing third place teams into the knockout stages, which is really cool because there's been many times where, you could have a third place team that come, won't qualify, but it's literally because of goal difference. Well, meanwhile, they'll have the same level points with whoever's in second or sometime or first, if that's possible. I think it is. Yeah. Um, so I'm going to tell you what I think of each team. I'm going to seed them from fourth place all the way up to first. Uh, I'm going to try and explain to you why I picked these teams to the best of my ability. Um, Also, I'll tell you just a little more about myself. I am more of a casual club football fan. I'm much more of a international football kind of guy. Obviously, there was a time when I was into club football. Um, there was a time where I followed AC Milan, which is my favorite, still my favorite team. But there's just a more of an edge and more of a buzz winning international uh, soccer tournaments going on. I'm sure other people can relate. Um, Everyone's feeling the effects of like supporting their nation, donning the colors, all that stuff. You see it in the streets. I myself live in Toronto, Toronto area. So we have a lot of people who um, are from, have roots from many different places. Canada itself is developing a very good program, and I think we should be seeing them in international tournaments in the coming years. Obviously, they're going to share hosting with the United States and Mexico in 2026, so that will be fun. Um, but anyways, enough chit chat, and let's dive right in. So let's start with Group A, which features Switzerland, Turkey, Wales, and Italy. Um, so for fourth in this group, I have to go with Wales. I just don't think Gareth Bale and Aaron Ramsey, who should be there. We should pull up the squads. Um, yeah, they haven't announced a preliminary squad yet. I think they're actually doing that today. Today's the 23rd of May. But I would imagine that Aaron Ramsey and Gareth Bale will be there. So apparently they named a new manager. I think his name is Rob Page. Um, and I think Ryan Giggs had some legal issues. Uh, depending on the management shouldn't really play too much of a part here. I just don't think the core is good enough to get past the other three. So Wales will stay at fourth. Um, Third, I will give to Turkey. Reason being, they have many talented players. You're talking Hakan Kala, and I pretend Chalanoglu. I'm sorry if I butchered that. Um, on my AC Milan, and Burak Yilmaz is still there, age 35. I just don't think this core is good enough. They also have Ozan Kabak from Liverpool. Um, I just don't. I don't see it. I don't see it happening. They have more of a core that's just not ready to challenge bigger clubs. Um, that also, I'm also a little at war with my decision for second, so I would have Switzerland at second. Um, I like a midfield with Sheridan Shaqiri, Granit Xhaka, um, even Jan Sommer between the pipes. Very experienced goalkeeper, very underrated in my opinion, as opposed to Turkey's options in net, as well as who they have running their midfield and offense. But this could really go either way. It could really easily be just Turkey finishing in second, like, and Switzerland finishing third. I think when these two match up, that will be a very pinnacle point in the group. But this is how I will predict it finishing. Going on to Italy, I have them finishing first. They are much like the other two. It's a very, you're going to have a lot of guys making tournament debuts. You're going to have Giorgio Chiellini, who's somehow still there. Age 36 definitely has to be his last tournament now. Um, Other guy, Leonardo Bonucci. Again, that defense is aging. Like, I hate to see it, but Roberto Mancini has guys, a lot of older guys. Marco Verratti, who I think is nursing an injury, I don't know if he will feature, is probably the most integral part of that midfield. Um, Ciro Immobile, I like a lot on Lazio, who plays his club football Lazio. Lorenzo Insigne, I don't think it's too much of an ask to ask Italy to come first here. They had a perfect qualifying record, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, I know they had an amazing. Yep, 10 wins and no losses. They only conceded 4 times and all that. So I don't think it's too much to ask for them to finish first. And that's how I have my Group A finishing out. Moving on to Group B, much of the same kind of dilemma I have with Group A. So I'm not really sure about my second and third position. I mean, that's kind of what I have going on for most of the groups now that I think about it. But anyways, bottom up. I'm going to go Finland last. It's their tournament debut. Um, they're not too familiar. I mean, they finished second in their group with Italy in Group J, and that automatically got them qualifying. 6 wins, 4 losses in that time. Again, very inspired play considering who they are. Aside from Timu Puki, I think that's his name. I think he was very high on the goal scoring category in qualifying. Yeah, he scored 10 goals during qualifying. I don't see this squad going any further given who they have to face. So yeah, I have Finland at 4 in Group B. Coming up next is not. I mean, was really hard to decide, but I'm going to go with Russia at third, not Denmark. Reason being is they had their the spotlight in at the FIFA World Cup in 2018, so along with home field advantage. I don't see that same Cinderella run happening with the squad. Um, I just think a lot of things had to go right for them in Russia, and they did. A lot of things have to go right again. I mean, most of their core play in Russia, so they play against each other a lot. Not too many world class players to talk about, um, other than guys like Golovin, um, who they have in front. So I mean, Zubia, who's 32 years of age now, Ziuba, I don't know how to pronounce his name. But yeah, it's not a very impressive squad. But then again, neither is Denmark, who I have at second. I just find they have a little more quality than Russia. I'm gonna go with Christian Eriksen over who Russia have in midfield. Do I definitely think Russia can finish second? It's definitely a possibility. I wouldn't put it beyond them, but I think Denmark has more talent. Let me just pull up their squad. So they have a 26-man preliminary squad at the moment. Um, Hold on a second. Is Christian? Sorry. I was looking at Finland. So Denmark are going to announce their final squad in a couple days. Um, and so Christian Eriksen, they have that striker. I don't remember his name, who plays on Leipzig. I like him as well. But my prediction is second for Denmark. And for first, surprise, surprise, I'm going Belgium. There's no reason that this favorite, it's fair to call them favorites, can not be able to outlast these other three. This should be very routine for Belgium, considering they have a lot to prove coming into this. They're currently enjoying their golden age of superstars, but time is running. Time is of the essence for these guys. They have to perform soon before this golden generation is done. But that's Group B. Moving on to Group C, we have Austria, North Macedonia, the Ukraine, and the Netherlands. So starting to the bottom, I'm going to be picking Ukraine on this one. I just don't, Shevchenko runs a tight ship. I'm sure around these guys, he's trying to prep them the right way, but I just do not see them going any further than this group. Um, and one reason why, and this might be one of my more controversial picks, North Macedonia recently found it in themselves to defeat Germany. In was it? I don't know if it was a qualifier for them. I'm gonna think it was a qualifier for the next World Cup. But this won't. This can definitely. There's a chance Ukraine could definitely go third, but no higher than third. But I'm gonna have them fourth. Just again, a lot of these guys play in their own country. Maybe Shevchenko can get like a good system going. One of their better players, Andriy Yarmolenko, 31 years of age now. He's playing at West Ham. He's probably one of their best players. They have some youngsters like Zinchenko, Alexander Zinchenko, playing at Manchester City. But again, this isn't enough to get past a team that came and defeated Germany. So now North Macedonia, it's very strange because I'm seeing like a couple players, or well, no, one player. Like Goran Pandev is on their squad, 37 years of age. I think he's sort of like a fan favorite when he played at Inter. But these guys, again, I don't have much to say. I don't know enough about them. This is the team I know the least about, given all things considered. But I'm gonna have them finish third. There could be like a light tournament sweetheart for me. Could maybe shock a couple people, but I will have them going third. Second, I'm gonna go Austria. Um, very a lot of talent on this team, a lot of underrated talent. It goes like Konrad Leimer, Marcel Sabitzer, Marko Anadovic, who's I believe on the preliminary squad. Alexander Dragovic, he's 30 years, plays been Bayern Leverkusen. Did I say David Alaba? He's who I should have mentioned first. He's probably their best player. Yeah, so some good names there. They can build a really solid starting 11, and I think they can definitely outlast the bottom two. Which brings us to the top of the group. Okay, so very, very different looking Netherlands team this time around. They're very up and down when it comes to these tournaments. No, there's going to be no Virgil, if I'm correct, but still a lot of talent. Nathan Ake of Man City, Matthias de Ligt of Juventus, Georgina Wijnaldum from Liverpool, Donny van de Beek, youngster from Manchester United. Only real thing, I don't know, they're looking a little light on offense as opposed to Memphis Depay. But I think they're very much expecting to be the tournament favorites. I was really in a dilemma because part of me just wanted to tell you this and tell you Austria is going to finish first in this group, but I'm going to go with the established name in the Netherlands this time. Moving to Group D. So we're going to have Scotland. We're going to have England. Oh, that'd be a great matchup. Croatia and the Czech Republic. Again, lots of talent in this group. I am going to go with the Czech Republic finishing fourth. They are not too many household names to go here. Again, could be, again, third and fourth is very in between for me. I just don't see them getting past the other two. The other, third place, which I'll put Scotland there. Scotland have talent. Scott McTominay. I'm not saying Czech Republic doesn't have any talent at all. I just don't think the Czech Republic will win against Scotland. These two will probably draw, and there might be something about goal differential finishing here. But these two, I'm not too concerned about where they finish. It's going to be these two that are going to be the meat and potatoes. England had a good qualifying record. If I'm not mistaken, they lost only once or twice. They lost only once. Funny enough, the Czech Republic qualified right behind them. And in the second seed of that qualifying group. This Croatia team, compared to the Croatia team, there's just lots and lots of talent wherever you go. Luka Modric's still going to be there. Rebic, Perisic. You have that same lots. Kovacic, Brozovic. I like all those names. I just realized I started talking about Croatia when I'm supposed to be talking about England. England haven't announced a squad yet, they plan to in a couple of days' time. Um, and maybe I'll revise. Maybe I should make a revised version of this video after. But I will go with England finishing second and Croatia finishing first. I think, as these guys had a miracle run in the final in the last World Cup. But I don't think that's going to carry over. I just think Croatia have the much more talented squad. They know what it takes to win crucial games. That's why I expect them finishing first. Group E gives us Poland, Spain, Sweden, and Slovakia. With this group, I think this is one of the easier groups to predict. I am going to go with Slovakia last. Again, they have an aging Marek Hamšík who can only do so much on that team. Not much else. Milan Skriniar, who I do like, who's on Inter. Other than that, I don't see too much going right for them compared to who they have next. I'll go Sweden at third place because of the lack of Zlatan that will be coming on. Yeah, but they have talent, and they've actually announced their final. They announced the final squad on the 18th, so a little while ago. I like Emil Forsberg. I like Alexander Isaac. I don't see this core coming too close to Poland, who I have coming in second, by the way. I think Poland's core is a little more solid, especially with Lewandowski, which brings me now to Poland. So, Lewandowski, 32 years of age. I don't know if it will be his last tournament. I mean, he could play another World Cup. He'll be 34, most likely. Milik, another solid striker for Marseille. Again, their goalie situation, Fabianski, Szczesny. I like my options there. Midfield might be, a little different. Zelinski's there still. Maybe I changed my mind on that. Yeah, this to me is the second best squad out of these groups, which obviously brings us to Spain, which is a dark horse favorite. Spain have had their golden era, and it's come and gone. But you can never count these guys out when it comes to groups like this. Yeah, I expect them to be on top after all this. In some cases, I can see Sweden beating Poland, but I feel, if you ask me about any of these groups I feel the most confident about, it has to be Group E. I just don't. I think Spain and Poland really do outclass these two right now. And then that brings us to our group of death, which gives us Portugal, France, Germany, and Hungary. Yeah, so we're gonna go with Hungary at first. Wouldn't that be something? You imagine? Do you somehow able to edge out third? That'd be crazy. But no, I have these guys going fourth. I know. I don't believe. I don't have faith. I just don't have faith. But let's talk about them a little. Peter Gulas. I don't know how to say it. Gulashi. I don't know his name. How to say it. But the Leipzig goalie. He's very underrated goalie in my opinion. As well as Willie Orban, who also these guys know each other. You have three of them who play on Leipzig in Germany. You have Dominic I don't know how to say it. Zaboslai. Yeah, you can roast my pronunciation later. Who's a good youngster from them. So I don't think they just can't stack up to these three. I don't have to get too technical about that. Anyone who knows even just a little bit about football knows that these guys just won't be able to stack up. But now, who do I really think is going to finish third here? Uh, I don't have any real reason to like immediately rule one out. They're all very, very strong sides. Um, the quick favorite is to throw Germany at third, just because of you have Joachim Löw stepping down at the end. There might be sensing a little bit of drama. But Germany have announced their final squad, um, and it looks as strong as it can. They have some of their older core, and Thomas Muller's going to be coming back. Mats Hummels in the defense, Tony Kroos, Manuel Neuer. I mean, he's been good, but I think the German FA have made a mistake by letting Löw continue. You could tell, for me, I just can see that he loves the core of players that won him that 2014 World Cup, even before that. I think he's just too in love with the past, and I think Germany has so much more, talent around. And for that reason, I'm going to put them third. Yeah, I did it compared to the other two. Argue about that later with me if you want. Um, Going to number 2, I am going to go with Portugal. Cristiano Ronaldo is 36 years old, but he can still do it. He can still do it just as good as anyone. Bruno Fernandes in the midfield, a resurgent Renato Sanchez, still only 23 years old. He was the absolute star in 2016. The defending champs. Forgot to mention that. Sergio Oliveira of Porto, who, again, Porto is a criminally underrated team. Only thing is, like, I can knock these guys on is their defense. Like, they're still bringing in Pepe. 38-year-old Pepe in the back, along with guys like Rafael Guerrero, Jose Font, who's 37. Again, not these old guys. There's got to be better selections than these old guys. I get their experience. Maybe you want to have one, experienced guy there, but Nelson Semedo, solid defender. Joao Cancelo and Ruben Diaz both play at Manchester City together. But I'll never understand why Fernando Santos keeps picking these guys. They're not that productive as they used to be. There's got to be a better option. If I'm a coach, I'm looking deep into that, talent pool. Joao Felix, Diogo Jota, lots of young talent here up front. Bernardo Silva, he's going to be a key player. Andre Silva didn't exactly work out at AC Milan, but he's at Frankfurt now. I think that is a solid pickup. And then that brings us to our last prediction. So, France first. Again, I remember when Spain was at their absolute peak. They had so much talent, like out of everywhere, and I'm feeling that way about France now. You just look at what they have to work with at each position. Hugo Lloris is a staple, 34 years old, so getting on the older side, but can still produce the big save. Raphael Varane, Benji Pavard. That back line is going to look great. And by the way, France have announced their final squad. And you look at other guys, so Kurt Zuma, Lucas Hernandez, We go on to the midfield. N'Golo Kante, an absolute rock. Rabiot, Musa Sissoko, Thomas Lemar, Paul Pogba's in there. And yeah, they have options all over. And then we get to the forwards. Griezmann, Mbappe, they still picking Giroud. And on top of that, let's not forget Karim Benzema, who's had a great season at Real Madrid this year, comes out of his exile with France. So I fully expect these guys to be coming on top. They have no excuse. Germany have been very lowly lately. There's no reason why they can't finish second. Maybe somehow they can turn up first, but I don't expect Germany to come out and be first. I will. They'll be my first pick to go into the next round though, for the third place choices. But now that brings us to the third place choices. So we got Switzerland from Group A, Russia from Group B, North Macedonia from Group C, Scotland from Group D, Sweden from Group E, and Germany from Group F. Yeah, so I'm going to go ahead and pick my first staple of this list. I think there's just no way that I find Germany having a worse record than these other two teams. But then, yeah, look, there's another team that just beat them recently. So my second fourth place team will be Russia. That's the one have the most dilemma about picking third. They could easily be put in second here, and I could be picking Denmark right now. But I'm pretty sure Russia or Denmark, depending on what happens, will end up on this list. I'll go with Switzerland next because they have good talent at certain positions. Mix that up with a good core. I think they're good enough to get to the next round. My last selection, you have a couple of newcomers. I'm not sure if Scotland qualified before, but I'm going to go with the talent of Sweden over North Macedonia and Scotland. North Macedonia is just not quite there yet, in my opinion. Same with Scotland. Kudos to them for making this tournament, but I just don't. These four are better than these two, in my opinion. Okay, this is my favorite part. Now we get to the good stuff, the round of 16. Just pick them. Just pick who you got, and that's that. Let's talk about our matchups. So, first one, Belgium and Sweden. Great matchup. Think sort of. I don't know if I'd go as far as David and Goliath, but you could definitely tell who the favorite is here. But could easily just go to overtime, penalties. Italy and Austria, same idea. Very talented squad here, coming up against another young and talented squad here. You have this country who's trying to make a name for itself, and you have this new generation who's trying to reestablish itself. Great matchup. France and Switzerland. Again, Swiss talented squad, but this should be. I expect this to be the routine for France. England and Poland. That's 50-50 for sure for me. I really just I can't get a firm grasp on how good England is right now. This can seriously go either way for me. Spain and Russia. So we're back to that shock defeat that Russia handed Spain in the last World Cup. I don't see it repeating. But hey, I'm not picking yet. I'm just telling you the matchups. Wow, I love this. This is a good matchup. Two very talented teams. I'll talk about that in a sec. Netherlands, Germany. Again, this is great. So you have a squad that's trying to establish themselves again. No, they're not a real superpower yet. Germany are fighting a little bit of adversity right now. So That's not that. You got to think. Do you go with the up and coming Dutchman, or do you go with the good, but not what they were Germany? This last one, we'll go with Turkey and Denmark. So again, the seeding really gets me sometimes. So Turkey, I had third in Group A, and Denmark, I had second in Group B. Okay. This is as 50-50 as it gets. I don't see, talk about all these, matchups that I see happening here. This is not an easy one to predict. That I really believe this one can go either. I truly believe this one can go either way. Not just how you're watching a game. It's like, oh, this one can go either way. I really believe that is as 50-50 of a round of 16 matchup as it gets. But okay. But nevertheless, let's get going. Starting with the round of 16, we have the one of the tournament favorites, Belgium, coming against the just scraping in Sweden. No reason why Belgium shouldn't be going through in this case. I can't say enough about how these guys are very much in the hunt to win, and how far they've come as a country and as a talent pool. But these guys have expectations. These guys are expected to make the final, I think. They're right up there. But yeah, as when it comes to Belgium and Sweden, that's I'm pretty confident about that pick. Italy and Austria is different. Um, I see an Italian squad that are very talented and very experienced at the same time, with some of the older boys like Chiellini and Bonucci. But I'm gonna go with an upset here. I think this is considered an upset if Austria beat Italy. The talent on these guys, it's criminally underrated to me. Um, if all the things happen the way they should, these guys should definitely, um, it'll be close, obviously, but I think Austria are capable of outlasting Italy. Italy, for them, they haven't shown me that they're a complete squad yet to go the distance, like they did way back in Euro 2012, when they came back and they showed everyone that they're a good squad. And then the 2018 World Cup comes around and they don't qualify. Um, so they're going to go through some growing pains before they get better. So when it comes to France and Switzerland, again, these no question that these guys should be beating Switzerland at this point. They are very good at every position. Switzerland have a couple of aces in midfield, but France have an ace at about I'd say almost every position. England and Poland. I'll go. Oh, I don't like how this feels. England are like historically bad in the round of 16. It seems. But Poland don't have too much talent. Um, that's tough. That is tough. Even if I pick Poland, England, that's an upset if I pick Poland to go through. Meanwhile, England are here with a very talented squad. They have a great manager. I'll go England this time. Um, I think they are good enough to not be, failing at the round of 16 stage. But I don't know if I could have that same argument when in the next round. Anywho, next matchup, Spain and Russia. I would be really shocked if Russia pulled off the same result against Spain. Again, no home field advantage this time. Spain have a great core. Um, they might have had, if Barcelona and Real Madrid are still amazing teams, even though neither of them won. Atletico Madrid won the title, which is amazing. Um, but yeah, I think I don't see this beating this. Next matchup, Croatia Portugal. Um, what can I say? This one, this one's tough. Yeah, I know. I've said that a lot of times. I just think that the Portuguese have a very talented squad. They have a very aging Ronaldo, but a guy who can still do it. Like he's 36 years old, but he's like he manages himself like LeBron James. LeBron James is aging, but he has a top team looking after him, making sure he can still run. But age waits for no man. Croatia, they have an older superstar as well, Luka Modric, and they have all these other role players who are just amazing. They really are a complete team com- compared to a lot of other teams. Just not a lot of people talk about like Mateo Kovacic enough, or Marcelo Brozovic, Ivan Perisic, um, even guys like Dejan Lovren for Stalko. So that's why I'm going to go Croatia. I definitely see a matchup like this going to overtime, maybe even penalties, but I'll go with Croatia this time around. They are very talented. I think they're on a mission. They've done it in big tournaments before, right? They're finalists. I would have never predicted that they would have made the finals that year, but like I said, I see them edging out Portugal. Which, by the way, I'm Portuguese, so I'm not biased. Um, Netherlands, Germany. Um, I have a really tough time trying to pick the Netherlands here, just because of their their um, their situation. Uh, their golden generation where they made that 2010 World Cup final. It's well behind them. I mean, that was 11 years ago. Um, I don't think this generation is as good, and I think Germany can pull together and get through this round. So I'm going to go Germany at this stage. Like I said, I think they might go through a bit of adversity in the beginning, but then Germany will be Germany again when they go to the next round. And then we have this one. This very, like I said, very 50-50. I can't really pick a favorite this time. Uh, but in this case, I'm going to go Denmark. There's just slightly more talent there. No reason this one can't go to penalties either. I don't see I don't see a blowout, or no, there very much could be a blowout. This is again very hard to call. Very interesting matchup in a knockout game for these two. Um, so there's our round of 16. Going on to our quarterfinals now. Belgium and Austria. So this is where I think Austria's journey ends. Very talented squad, and they could do some damage in future tournaments. Belgium must go through. Um, Austria uh, just don't have the talent at every position like Belgium does. Um, yeah, there's not much else to say. Good on you, Austria. You did really well, but we're saying goodbye for now. France and England. Um, it's. I wish I could tell you it was a seriously hard decision, but the world champs have no reason to not get to this stage. Like, okay, if I'm telling you that these two make the semifinal, this is for sure an expectation for both of these teams. This is where it's going to get the hardest for them. But yeah, I don't think England's there yet in terms of like challenging everybody. But anything can happen in these games. You never know. Since probably in some, you never know. This could totally happen. I'm not saying this is impossible, but this is expected, and I expect this too. I'd be absolutely shocked if France didn't make the semifinals. Um, Next, Spain, Croatia. Again, two very talented teams. Not easy to pick. I don't. You remember the miracle one they went on, but I don't think they'll repeat it. There's got to be someone else. Hungrier, I think Spain is hungrier in the sense. I think they're really on a mission to try and kind of like, we're a force to be dealt with. Remember that. And Croatia, you had your spotlight at the World Cup. I think you'll carry some of it here up to the quarterfinals. I don't think you're going any further. Um, and yeah, you see where I'm going here now when it comes to Germany. They are going to find their form. They're somehow going to find themselves in a matchup with Denmark, but they can definitely outclass them. It's it's almost no. It's because they will. I think they'll go through a bit of adversity because of how they're in the group of death. Is because they'll have easier matchups compared to the rest of the core. I mean, it's like because we finished third, we're put into this other category where technically we should be facing harder teams. But now that we got to the knockout stages in the round of 16, we can now be the real Germany. And we can beat the Netherlands, we can beat Denmark, and we can get to the semis. And now to the final form. Final form. Why did I say that? Too much Dragon Ball Z. Final four. Final four. Um, so you might be saying to yourself, why these are all household names. In the sense that these guys are expected to be here, but there's gonna be someone who just slips through the cracks and finds their way into the semifinals. I just know it. It always happens that way. Or a team you couldn't have even thought, like, it's probably a team you already have eliminated is going to somehow make the quarters or even semifinals. But I'm going to go with this. This will definitely be a classic. I will have to go with the talented squad. I think this is the year they finally put all the demons to rest and they make a final. Um, I seen flashes of like how dominant they were in Spain. How this France squad can compare to the dominance of the Spain squad of generations past. I think they're beatable. Spain was not beatable. That's like from a period of like 2010. Sorry, no, 2008 to like 2012. They were unbeatable in my opinion. Anyways, they've a lot of tiki taka, a lot of holding the ball, a lot of possession, just picking their spots. As much as talent as I like on France, I think they are beatable as opposed to that older generation of Spain. I don't think they're going to be another Spain or they're going to dominate for years, but I could be wrong. Like I said, this is a prediction. That brings us to the rematch of the 2008 European Championship with Spain and Germany. A rematch of the 2010 semifinal, if I'm not mistaken. And you again, I'm gonna have to ride with Germany finding their form and beating one of their bitter rivals over the last couple decades. Like I said, they're gonna have to turn on at some point and become Germany. As much as I like them, I can't deny that they can beat the Netherlands once they've had 3 games. They can beat Denmark. This matchup's easier. Like this seeding here, how this came to be was a blessing for Germany. I'm not if Germany had to go through these neck of the woods and find France, or Belgium. I don't like them at all. I'd have those teams. I'd have Belgium and France over and have Germany. But because of this seeding here, I have to go Germany. And that brings us to the final. Yeah, so we're nearly complete here. I have I a couple years ago you'd call them like tournament sweethearts, like, oh my god, Belgium is making way, but no, no, no. This, as I've reiterated many times, and I will reiterate again, this is a must. Like, you got to get here for Belgium. You don't know how much longer your golden generation lasts. I with Germany, I don't know if the media will be like, no one expected them to be here, but they're Germany. They always persevere. They follow a bad performance with an amazing one. It's definitely possible. But I, however, think this is where Germany's perseverance against Spain comes to an end, and I think Belgium will be winning Euro 2020 or Euro 2021, whatever you want to call it. I know. You could probably tell by my tone in the beginning as I was like, hyping up Belgium. It's like, oh, they have to be here. They have to be here. They have to be here. I believe it's their year. It's got to be. There's too much talent here to not be. Like, looking at their squad, they have one of the best goalies in the world, if not the best, in my opinion. Defensively, they're looking a little old. I like Meunier and I like Alderweireld. Vertonghen might be a stretch too old though. So defensively, they could be. That might be their weakness. That's the only thing. It's the only real thing I'm on my toes about. Midfield: Witsel, De Bruyne, Chadley, Carrasco, Tielemans, Hazard. Things should be in the middle. Things should be moving very fluidly for them. I don't see they should be giving defenses a lot of trouble. Eden Hazard, Bertens, Lukaku, Benteke. I like this. I like this team to win. Might not be as appealing as some of the other teams, but as a group, and Roberto Martinez has been around now. I remember when he got hired. There was a lot of really him? Why? This team has to come together now. I think they're gonna be feeling the pressure early on. They're gonna be feeling the pressure in the knockout stages, and that pressure is gonna take them to another level, if you ask me. But yeah, that is my take on Euro 2020. My predictions. You most likely disagree with me in many areas. You most likely agree with me in some areas. Who knows? I can be optimistic. But let me know what you think. I have, again, I'm not even, sometimes I look at how I came about this list and be like, are you kidding me? No, how the hell would I think that? But I'm going to sign off for now. I have so much fun doing these every year, even for NFL playoffs, NHL playoffs. I enjoy hockey a lot. And any tournament format where there's a knockout, when there's when a World Cup one comes, it's so much fun because there's every nation, every one of the good nations. But thanks so much for watching. My pick is Belgium. I would have liked to have gone into like who do I think is going to score the most, but that's like a lot of like review and study. Um, Golden Boot, best keeper, and I guess this tournament doesn't do a third place matchup like the World Cup. But anyways, I'm rambling again. Take care and have a good night.